Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Preschool All Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and my guest today is Dominique Gates. How are you doing today, Dominique?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining me and telling us your story. I can't wait to hear it.
Yes, awesome.
All right, so let's dive in then. What was going on before you decided to start a preschool?
Well, I have been in the education field for years. Me and my mom actually went to school for early childhood education,
Nice.
and we both got our first teaching job with Head Start at the same time. Like literally,
Wow.
we interviewed the same time.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
So it was always our dream to start our own school. And she ended up passing in 2010. And I decided to keep it going and still let her legacy be alive in us by continuing my teaching career, which I love absolutely so much. So um, I have been teaching, I've taught Head Start, preschool, I've taught in private schools, public schools, kind of everywhere, in all institutions that you could think of, I have taught in. And then I just recently, the past couple of years, just had a love for home education. When I started homeschooling my first son, he was 2 years old, and he just enjoyed doing all kind of different activities and things like that. And that was 12 years ago.
Okay.
And so, then I started helping other parents by teaching their little ones. And I had a few little ones at home. I didn't have a daycare or anything like that. It was just merely they saw that I liked teaching, and then from there it grew. But like I said, I've been in education for years. That's where I came from. I haven't stopped. I mean, since
That's your
1998
thing.
when I graduated from school. That's where we've been.
All right. All right. So you got the background. So how
Yeah.
did you come across joy and what were you doing right before you found joy?
Oh man, I wish I had found joy years ago. I'm
Don't we all?
literally, I really do. But I have been seeing her ads like on Facebook, and I just been kind of running through them because it was like I had already started my program.
Okay.
So when I see the book, it said start a preschool, I'm like, I've already started.
Okay. Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking that it was anything that she could help me with because I was past the start point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But just recently, I opened our center inside a community center, and things just went crashing down.
Mm.
And when I saw her ad again, this is when the light just came on. I was just like, okay, now her book is free. Like I have nothing to lose. So I
Right.
ordered the book, and then I started, and then I got into the Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, these people are really in different phases of their business. So some of them was just starting, but others were just like me. They were into their business, but just needed a little help getting it
Right.
going. That's
Right.
where I was. That's exactly where I was. So that's how
Okay.
I hooked up with Joy.
Perfect. So you where were you running it before you decided to move to the community center? Where is it in
I
a
was I
home?
was in a small office space, very small office space. I could literally probably fit 6 children.
Okay.
And at that point, I didn't even have 6 children.
Okay. Okay.
But I felt like since I was just getting started, I didn't need a huge space.
Right.
And the most kids that I had from September to December was about 5. I was at 5 kids. And then I got the opportunity to go to the community center, and they gave us a space there. I didn't have to pay anything. They actually paid me to bring my program there.
Oh, wow. Well,
So
that's
we were
cool.
looking like, you know what? That's a win-win
Yeah.
situation, right? But unfortunately, things didn't work out there. We ended up we moved in there in January and moved out of there by the end of February.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So yeah, but we learned a lot,
Hmm.
learned a whole lot about business, definitely things that I just didn't have in place and I
Right.
didn't know that I needed.
Yeah.
And so by then we moved to our current location, which we were absolutely blessed with. And we're finally now, since getting in contact with Joy and going through the 7-day challenge first. That's the first thing that I did, and that was such a blessing to me. I literally felt like I needed to invest in myself so that I could get where I needed to be spiritually first, and then officially make my business so that it's professionally brought out to other clients. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Absolutely. And were
yeah.
you already running it as a half day program?
It was not a half-day program. It was actually what did I have it? Okay, so at the office space that I had, the small office space, we were just running a half a day program,
Okay.
2.5 hour program. And it was in our geographical area, those kind of programs are not that popular
Okay.
because it's so many programs offering like all day programs. So I understood that most parents that I even came in contact with that would take advantage of my program, they didn't work. And most of the people in our area, they either work, go to school, or have 2 jobs maybe. So that just kind of wasn't feasible. When we moved to the community center, I opened it up for a full day, 8 to 3 program.
Okay.
So that worked even more. We did get more kids and, things like that. So that did work out. In our current location, I did change the time.
Okay.
And I didn't go half a day, but I didn't go 6 hours either.
Okay.
So now we're at 10 to 2.
Okay.
And that's working for a lot of people. But of course, the vast majority still wants that full day.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
we're on the road to changing some things for the school year, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. So tell me about your current program. What kind of space is it in now?
Okay. So we're here at, we're actually sharing a space with an insurance company that basically, it's a large office space with different rooms.
Okay.
And so on one side of the office space is where the insurance company houses their offices. And then we have an entire side of the office that was not being used at all, including the reception area.
Oh,
So
okay.
like I said, we were blessed with this spot, and we have 4 different rooms.
Wow.
We have 2 large rooms and 2 small rooms. Such a blessing, right? And then I have
Yeah.
my office too.
Wow. And how
So,
did you find
yeah.
that? Were you even looking for a space that big?
I was not looking for a space that big. I was at a desperation point. Once we had to move out of the community center, I said, well, I have these parents. I have to move us somewhere. That's all I knew.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I reached out to my godbrother, which is the insurance agent that was
Oh.
over this space. And I said, hey, do you have any space for us? And he's like, of course. Yes. Come
Oh,
on.
nice.
Gave us a sweet deal. Such a blessing to be there. No stress. Just have what you want. Use the space as long as you want. And
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
so
So are
we've
you
been there.
licensed?
We are not licensed. We
Okay.
are registered with
Okay.
the state, but our program is not a daycare, of course. We're not a I want to say not a traditional preschool. We are building a micro school, which that term is so new in our geographical area. So we captioned our program to be a homeschool learning and resource center.
Nice. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So you take more than just preschoolers?
Yes, absolutely. This past school year, this is what got the wheels turning for the micro school, because I was getting more attention for, we have our preschool program and it's doing well, but I was getting more attention from parents that were looking to homeschool, but either didn't know how or just didn't have the time to. They work, or just didn't have the tools to, and they were just looking for a teacher that could do it for them.
Right.
Well, in the state of Indiana, you cannot homeschool legally. You cannot homeschool anybody else's children.
Oh,
but you can become a private tutor for those children.
there you
So,
go.
and even in homeschool co-ops, we can offer those types of services. But so we kind of was that private tutor for them, but it was on a full-time basis. And so now we're just creating this full program with our preschoolers and school age kids.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
loophole too. You can't homeschool
Yeah.
anyone else's kids, but you can private
Right.
tutor, which is pretty
Right.
much the same thing.
Right. Right. Exactly. It's just
Perfect. And you have a lot of space, so different classes. So how are you running things now? What are the times and groups and ages? And tell me all that.
okay. So now, at this present moment, we have summer camp going on, and we're 10 to 2 for right now. When the school year starts, we are going to add an hour at the beginning and an hour at the end.
Is that 5 days a week?
That will be, we do 4 days a week. And on Fridays, we're off.
Okay.
But for summer camp, we're doing 4 days in the building because the building that we're at now doesn't have any outside space. So that's, that's something, but we deal with it because on Fridays, every Friday we go on a field trip.
Oh,
And
that's
I want
fun.
to call it a field trip meetup because we don't trans
Right.
kids.
So the parents
We
come on the field trip
Yeah.
with you guys?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Which I'm sure the parents want to if they're homeschooling and yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. It's been wonderful so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you separate the ages? What age groups do you have?
Okay. So I have the 3 to 5 year olds together. And they are together for what we call like circle time and things like that. But then those kids that are getting ready to go to kindergarten, I have another teacher that does work with me, a teacher assistant. And so I allow her to stay with the 2 and 3 year olds
Okay.
during the learning time, because I take those kindergarten or getting ready for kindergarten students and I work with them separately. And then my schedule is me moving from class to class to teach.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And so I kind of have the older kids, they know how to come in and they have their morning startup work, which is independent work, while I'm doing the learning time with the 4 and 5 year olds. And then I move to the next room and kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Work
it's just you and your one teacher aide, but she mostly stays with the little kids. And then
Yes.
when you're not with the older kids, they're just doing independent work.
Independent work. Yep.
And you haven't had any behavior issues or whatever. You got them trained.
Not at all. And
Nice.
this was the biggest thing for the parents
Yeah.
because some of the students, the older students that I have, they pulled them out of school because of behavior issues.
Okay.
And I guess it's surprising to them. I haven't had any issues at all.
Wow. Well, that just goes to show that,
Yeah.
not every kid learns the same way. Sometimes when you give them a little freedom to learn, they'll take that
Absolutely.
freedom and do awesome things with it.
Absolutely. And I count it as to God be the glory because I don't know. I mean, I know what we have is different, but and I'm realizing even more from year to year that some kids can't handle the environment. It may be a little bit overstimulating for some kids, the traditional school
Yeah.
environment. So
Totally. So, what age ranges do you have in those older kid rooms? And are they all in the same room, or are they even the older kids separated?
Everybody is, well, I've had enough just to do one older kid room.
Okay.
Without going over 5 students in that room. We have 2 empty rooms right now, which we are looking to fill for the school year.
Yeah.
And then the preschool room, we keep that low as well. So not over 6 kids in that room.
Okay.
So we have another room the same size as the preschool room. And then we have another room the same size as the big kids room. So, we're looking to fill those spaces.
Cool. Do you have like cameras in the rooms that you're not in, just in case there's ever something that did happen?
We do have cameras. We do
Cool.
have cameras. Yes. We have cameras even in the open, before you even enter into our office, we have cameras. And then once you enter into the receptionist area desk, desk area, we have cameras. We have cameras where we all gather together in the open area. I mean, yeah. So
yeah, perfect. And
yeah.
so how many hours of direct instruction a day would you say the older kids get?
I would say they get at least a total of 2.5 hours
Okay.
of instruction. They get there, so we're open from 10 to 2, but I kind of staggered their arrival times so that I could be available for them when they get there.
Yeah.
So the little ones come at 10, and the older ones don't start until 10:30.
Okay.
And so by the time they get there, I'm just about finishing up with the little ones, and then, we can
And do
move.
you teach certain subjects, or do they cover all the subjects? Do you have curriculum for them? Do you give them workbooks, or do they come with work from home?
Okay, so the preschoolers, we have been kind of lenient with the curriculum and just focusing on skills.
Okay.
But the older kids, we do have curriculum for them. And I am so happy about using this curriculum. It is just awesome. The Good and the Beautiful curriculum, I love it. And so far, it's doing well for my students. But I always tell my parents that we strive to teach the kids individually. We don't expect the same thing to work with every child. So we definitely look at them as individuals when picking curriculum and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So what age range do you have in that older kids room? Do you have high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary? What do you have?
No, we only go up to, and I don't want to say only, but we go up to right now, we go up to 6th grade.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's, I haven't had any of the, I guess, in between grades. I've had 4th and 5th grade last year, but I didn't have any of the lower ages. I did have kindergarten, and then it jumped from there to 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So.
Okay. So are you teaching them all when you go in there? Are you going in and working kind of one-on-one with each kid?
So we learn a skill together.
Okay.
And if it's things like language arts, we learn together.
Okay.
Things like science, social studies, things like that, we learn together. But when it comes to math, like I said, we always introduce a skill. Most of the kids that I've worked with in the past, they are not on the level they're supposed to be. So it's not really hard to gather together on certain subjects.
Yeah.
Okay, so we learn a skill together, even if it's review for some and new for some, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But we do, I do break up and work one-on-one once I give their pretty much assignments for the day. So
cool. Yeah. Well, this is a great, I love this idea. So since you have 2 empty classrooms right now, you're looking to fill them for fall, are you going to be hiring teachers for them? Or are you going to just keep rotating?
I am looking to hire teacher assistants.
Okay.
I think that the parents that we have now, and I'm not at all boasting or tooting my own horn or anything like that, but I think they are used to my teaching style. And so it's kind of hard to even hire somebody and then teach them how you teach.
I know. Oh, I know. That's like the hardest thing about hiring someone. I struggle with that every day.
Yeah. So, but it's been a blessing so far. The people that we have come in contact with, they trust my judgment. So even if I did hire another teacher, they know, well, if I hired them, then it's going to be good. But I think that I want to be a part of every student's experience. I don't want to be in my office.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that. I mean, teaching is the best part about this job. It really is.
That's the best part.
It is. And stepping outside and having to do all the admin stuff while someone else teaches is really hard.
So I'm looking to hire an admin.
Yeah.
To do that part. That's the least attractive part that I don't care to do, but it has to be done. But I'm looking to hire an admin person and another or two more teacher assistants. So
cool. And how much do you charge?
Okay, so our fee, which we have worked on this a lot, I have a team that works with me on, different things like this. So all the decisions don't have to be solely on me. So we've been working this out, and because I started by myself, I made a few mistakes, and
you're learning.
I lowballed myself too low. And so now during summer camp, we've raised the fee, and we've decided to keep it the same even when school starts. So it's $75 a week, and if you could figure that, that's like $300 a month.
Yeah, which is super cheap for 10 to 2. Yeah.
Cool. And even for the school year, it'll be 9 to 3. So I think that'll still compensate for that time as well.
Yeah. So how did you find your first families? Was it Founding Family script, or how did you go about that?
Actually, because like I said, we were already started when I even found Joy. So my first family was actually relatives of mine. And you know what? Let me backtrack just 1 second, because 2020 is the year that I actually started my virtual program.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So I started my virtual program then, because 2019, that's when I had the kids face-to-face in my home, but I only had relatives. I had my little niece, my nephew, I had my little preschooler. So we were just kind of doing it here. But then 2020 came, and we all kind of separated. But the parents still wanted, once everything shut down, I had a flood of kids that I called that was just wanting tutoring because school was out.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was doing hour sessions literally from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening.
Wow.
And I had 1 hour break in between. Wow. I had that many students every hour. How I was doing that, I don't even know.
You were making it happen, just like you do. You got it. You fake it till you make it.
Yes. So that was a blessing. But that's when virtual got started. And I graduated my first preschool class last school year.
Nice.
And they all went to kindergarten. And so this school year started, and I tried to do both. I tried to do virtual and face-to-face. By October, I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, it was a lot. And so I literally hired a teacher just to do virtual. And I was like, nice. You know what? That money from that virtual, you can just have that. But I just didn't want to, I didn't want to scratch it in the middle of a school year. So that was just to finish strong with them, and then decide whether it's something we want to continue. And that's where we are now.
Are you going to continue? Oh, you're still trying to decide.
Sure. I'm not sure.
It's a really hard decision. I get it. I'm in the middle of restarting up my virtual in the middle with my local. And last year I did both, and it's hard. It's hard, but now I took a year off, and now I'm doing it all over again. So it's, but I understand the pull, because it's fun. It's fun. And people, we're still looking, and it's still nice to have that reach, the kids that you wouldn't normally get to see. Right. And it's a different experience.
Exactly. And even my virtual, the furthest virtual student that I had lives about 2 hours away.
Okay.
And so I give an awards ceremony. I don't want to call it a graduation, but last year we literally did a graduation because we had kids going to kindergarten. This year it was awards day. We didn't have any going to kindergarten because they're all coming back for the school year. But that student that was 2 hours away, she got a chance to come face to face for the graduation ceremony.
Oh, that's cool.
It was the first time they all saw each other, and it was just awesome. I love it.
That is awesome.
So if for not anything else, like the learning experience, because we do a lot of hands-on and things virtually, I tried to make the experience as face-to-face as it could be virtual.
So when did you find Joy?
That was just this year.
Okay, so you were doing your virtual preschool before Joy, and you just set that all up, and it was rocking and rolling. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. But like I said, I probably would have had a bigger turnout. I mean,
Right.
it would have just been different.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would have been official. It wouldn't have been just, you know.
Yeah. Well, now you know what you got to
Yeah.
do to make things official.
Yeah.
So it might be different this time around if you do choose to do it. And now you know how to, if you're going to hire someone. And I mean,
Right.
you learn. That's
Yeah.
what we're all doing here, is learning as we go.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. I love the process though.
Yeah, absolutely. How has being part of the Preschool All Stars helped you learn, helped you grow?
Man, like I said at the beginning, I felt like it was just time to invest in myself
Mm-hmm.
and what I love to do, which is educate children. And I felt like I had gone as far as I could by myself. Because really, like, all I want to do is teach.
Yeah.
The other parts of it, you know, the business, the setting everything up. And I'm so glad that I was one of the ones that she chose to do the website for. That was
nice.
such a blessing for me because I just couldn't see it being done if I had to do it. I literally, I was just time restraints, and I'm in the middle of running my business already.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm like, I can't even sit down enough to do this. And so, I mean, that was such a blessing. I can't.
That's awesome.
But
so now you got your hub up and running and your website up and running and you're all official.
Yes. Awesome. Absolutely. Still learning how to work it, but
aren't we all? We all are. I'm about to go through the training all over again because that's just what I got to do to learn it. Yep.
Right. So yeah.
Awesome. So where do you see this business in 5 years from now?
Okay. I don't know if I can reach 5 years.
Okay. What about next year?
In my mind.
Year.
Okay.
Let's think about
next year. I plan to be in our own building.
Okay.
So even if it's leasing a building, it would be ours, you know, in our space, and just trying to educate as many children as I possibly can. I see myself with a bigger team, a bigger educational team to help me out. It's really, to me, it's about location. To me, that's the biggest thing in my head, where I see myself moving. That's the biggest thing, because everything else that I ever wanted is already in place right now. My curriculum that I've always wanted to use, we already have it, everything else is kind of there, but it's that location piece that is really, that's what's on the mind right now.
Totally. What do you think has been the hardest part of all of this? The biggest roadblock you've had to overcome? I'm just throwing all the hard questions at you.
Man, no, not hard. It's hard to find the words to express it the right way. The hardest part, I would say, is just jumping the hurdles of running a business.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Because the teaching, that's what comes natural. That's the God-given gift that just rolls off your tongue.
Yeah.
But it's the business piece. It's almost like you're going to college again after being out for so long.
Yeah.
You're learning this stuff just piece by piece.
Yeah. There's so many hats that you have to wear in this business, because you wear the teacher hat, and that's the hat that you got in this for. But then there's, you got to be an accountant. You got to be a marketing expert. You have to be good with parents. You have to know the laws.
A money person. Yes.
You got to be a curriculum developer. You have to, there's so many things that you don't think about that you have to learn from scratch, that like none of us, most of us don't have expertise in any of that. We're just like, we want to teach. We love children. We love teaching. And then all the other stuff is, we're just learning as we go.
Right. That's exactly where we are.
Yeah. But we're doing it and we're making it work. So what is your piece of advice for someone who maybe has started something but isn't where they want to be, or is looking to grow, or maybe change their idea, start something new like you've done? What's your biggest piece of advice to any lady who's looking to do what you just did?
Well, definitely. What I had to do And that was to stay positive, stay prayerful, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's
it.
huge. Yeah, that's huge.
That's it.
Awesome.
Or else things like this can really throw you off, especially when you are used to doing things yourself and you're used to it working.
Yeah.
You're used to it just working out how you want it to work. But then when things, go take a down spiral and you feel like you don't have any control over what's happening, you have to find, and I'm going to say, you have to find the space spiritually just to stay positive. Because the worst thing that you can do is, because you're working for yourself, that means not only you is involved, your family is involved.
Right.
If you have younger kids, you don't want them to feel that negativity.
Right.
You have to stay positive, and only God can keep that calmness on you. So stay prayerful and don't be afraid to say, hey, I need help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my husband has been definitely that spiritual help, that biggest supporter that I could ever ask for. So yes, that's the biggest piece of advice I got.
Yes, no, that's the hard part. Asking for help for some reason. When you're used to doing it all yourself, asking for help is the hard part. I struggle with that daily.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Dominique, I wish you all the best of luck. I can't wait to hear how this turns out and how your program grows. And I think you're doing a great and awesome idea. I love what you got going on.
Thank
and we'll
you
check
so
in.
much.
We'll check in next year to see where you're at, where that new place is, and all the new stuff you got going on. Thank you so much for talking to me and telling your story.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All-Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All-Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All-Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.